Hello,
Guru Vishnu.
Prasanna Babu.
Yes, sir. It is started.
Guru Deva Maheshwara.
Prasanna Babu.
Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. प्रिय आत्मन समस्त को सादर प्रणाम.
Oh, you speak
all
in
the
your
respected dignitaries, namaskar. Welcome to the
Namaskar, sir.
webinar on open air schooling. Today is a very important day, May Day. May Day is popular and for its contribution to the entire world of labor. And on this auspicious day, we are organizing, Tika Foundation is organizing a national webinar on open air schooling. Open air schooling, which speaks about the tradition, culture, and the lofty heritage of India from Vedic time to Gopabandhu's time, that we have heard about open air schooling. Open air schooling, where the disciples, the students, they sit together, they learn in open air under the groups of trees. We have brilliant speakers today. We have with us our respected, the most President of Tika Foundation, Professor Dr. Subhash Chandra Panna, former Principal, Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar. We have with us our patron, Dr. Manjuru Ali. We have with us Dr. Prasanna Kumar Mahapatra. We have with us Professor Devaprasad Das, and we have with us Dr. Ravi Narayana Sahu. And as a speaker today, we have a brilliant speakers, Professor Prafula Kumar Ratha, former Director, Higher Education, Odisha, and he's the expert in culture, cultural analysis, and we very often see him in television debates, and his prudence, his delivery, outstanding and uncomparable. And we have another eminent speaker, Professor Dr. Brajakishore Swami, who is a very popular, and he was writing articles. I know how big articles, how very beautiful and analytical articles he was writing on newspapers, particularly in Samaj, and he has also guided PhD and produced many books, published many books also. And we have with us Dr. Brajakishore Swami, who was former professor of Dharma Shastra in Jagannath Sanskrit University. And we have also another speaker, very eminent person, Professor Dr. Pramod Chandra Mishra, former professor, Sri Jagannath Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya Puri. And we have with us all the dignitaries, all the professors, you are here with us. And today, the program, the speakers, they will focus on this open air schooling. So now, as a part of our program, that I invite Dr. Prasanna Kumar Mahapatra to now offer the welcome address. Dr. Prasanna Kumar Mahapatra.
Namaskar to all. On behalf of Tika Foundation, I welcome to you all to this national webinar, the open air schooling. I welcome to this webinar Professor Subhash Chandra Panna, the president of our foundation, and we are the former principal, Regional Institute of Education, NCERT, Bhubaneswar. I also welcome Dr. Manjuru Ali, the chairman of our foundation, I welcome Professor Brajakishore Swami, the great educationist of the country. You are the former professor, Dharma Shastra, Sri Jagannath Sanskrit University, Puri. Sir, I welcome you to this national webinar, that is open air schooling. I also welcome Professor Prafulla Kumar Rathore, former director, Higher Education, Odisha and Odisha Bhasha Pratishthan. Sir, I welcome you to this national webinar. I also welcome Professor Pramod Kumar Mishra, the former professor, Jagannath Sanskrit University, Puri. Sir, I welcome you to this national webinar. I welcome the coordinator, Professor Devaprasad Das, Vice President, Dr. Saroj Khan Chaudhary, management members of Tika Foundation and former senior faculty, PN College Khordha, Dr. Ravi Narayan Sahu, and participants, professors, associate professors, teachers, research scholars. I also welcome to you all to this national webinar. The theme is no doubt need-based also. If we'll go back to the Vedic stage, we'll find open air schooling system. Open air schooling system also we find during Jaina period, Buddhist period, even if in modern India. We know about the Santiniketan and Satyavadi system of education. We know the traits, the characteristics of open air schooling, like open air schooling. In open air schooling, they emphasize on fresh air and sunlight, proper diet, sufficient rest, hygienic way of life, individual attention for their physical, mental, social, moral, emotional, cognitive, particular spiritual development, and proper medical treatment, and special educational method was also adopted. However, our eminent resource persons definitely they will highlight the different dimensions, different aspects of open air schooling during ancient time and its relevance in the present context. So, once again, I welcome you all to this national webinar, that is open air schooling. So, namaskar. One thing, it is my request to all of you, please mute your audio and video, as a result of which you can able to listen the presentations of our eminent educationists very clearly. So it is my sincere request, please mute your audio and video. So thank you. Welcome you all to this national webinar.
Thank you, Dr. Mahapatra, for your kind words, welcoming the eminent scholars and speaking about the open air schooling. The culture, the very cultural history is there. Tika Foundation basically has been formulated with a mission to propagate this type of education. Education as a subject, education, it's the genesis of education in Odisha. We have with us Dr. Ravi Narayan Sahu, former Reader in Education, PN Autonomous College, Khordha. Now I invite Sir Dr. Sahu to speak about the mission of Tika Foundation. Now over to Dr. Ravi Narayan Sahu. Dr. Ravi Narayan Sahu. Now I welcome Dr. Ravi Narayan Sahu.
Am I audible, Saroj Babu?
Yes.
Yes.
Please continue. Hello.
Dr. Sahu, please. Hello, Dr. Sahu.
Unmute, Dr. Sahu, unmute. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Continue.
Dr. Sahu, please unmute your audio and video. Please.
There is some technical snacks. What I think you can. Hello.
Okay. Is it okay?
Sir,
Yes, you
please,
speak. You
on
speak.
your video, sir.
You, Dr. Sahu, please unmute your audio and video.
Oh, yes,
Fixed,
unmute. Yes, you continue. It is unmute. You are audible.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sir. ठीक. Okay, sir. Right.
Okay, okay, sir. Dr. Manjuru Ali, Chairman, the Tika Foundation, our President, Dr. Subhash Chandra Panda, the former Principal of RI Bhubaneswar, and our Chief Coordinator, Dr. Devaprasad Das, and our Vice President, Dr. Saroj Kant Chaudhary, and the resource persons, Dr. Vajakishore Swami, and the former Professor Dharmashastra, Sri Jagannath University, Puri, and Dr. P.K. Ratha, former Director, Higher Education, Orissa, then Professor Pramod Chandra Mishra, former Professor, Sri Jagannath University, Bhubaneswar, Puri, the other dignitaries, your resource persons, and your dear participants. So I have to, as a member of this Tika Foundation, I feel privileged to take this opportunity to introduce Tika Foundation before this August body. So as you know, Tika Foundation, your Tika Teachers Empowerment in the Era of Knowledge Application, popularly known as Tika, is a registered organization under the Government of India. So it was established in the year 2011. So Tika is an organization of academicians to check out plans and programs for the development of education. And the logo of Tika Foundation is Tika retrospect and prospect, and Tika the knowledge, the resource for peace and progress. The foundation is an initiation of Dr. Manjuru Ali, a young and dynamic social activist working for the social upgradation of the people around the globe. So he has received several state, national, and international awards for his active involvement in the process of socio-cultural upgradation. So in this process, so Tika Foundation has extended its scope work for the education, particularly in the field of teacher education. So being motivated by his revered teacher, Dr. Prasanna Kumar Mahapatra, who is the secretary of this Tika Foundation. So Tika Foundation has a number of objectives. So the first objective is to conduct seminar, workshop, promote research activities, and develop educational methodology, and to take education, to develop various plans and programs for the upliftment of the faculty of education, to devise formula and evaluate your scientific and scientific technology for the development of education, then to promote and develop spiritual moral and value-based education, then to establish and to manage institutions of higher learning and training centers to uh, develop his power of excellence and to publish journals, periodicals, and magazines, etc., and to organize workshops, symposia, etc. And we have achieved a lot. Tika Foundation has achieved a lot. Then we are having a journal, Tika Foundation, and we have a plan to have a e-journal, and we have published several books, edited books for the benefit of the students as well as teachers, and we have organized several conferences during your normal period, and also we have organized several webinars during this pandemic period. So Tika is working for the cause of the your faculty of education. So with you, we have achieved a lot and more are to be achieved. While rededicating ourselves for the cause of education, we, the people, or we, the members of Tika Foundation, believes in the words of the Robert Frost that the woods are lovely, dark and deep. I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi Narayan Sahu, for reminding the Robert Frost's mission to miles together to work. Thank you very much. So now it is time to request Professor Subhash Chandra Panda, the President of Tika Foundation, to offer inaugural speech on this occasion. Now I request Professor Subhash Chandra Panda for inaugural speech.
Namaste to everybody. Let me be very brief in putting forth the just introduction of my presidential address. My most revered chairman, vice president, secretary, and all the executive member of the Tika Foundation, the august speakers present today to deliver on this particular topic, the august audience present today in this webinar. So to begin with, when we are talking about the open air schooling, why don't we call it open air school? So that means there is some differences between school and schooling. I think the people from our audience must be aware of that thing, that whatever goes on in the schooling, the process continued in the school system is known as schooling. That means this open air school, whatever supposed to be done by a school, whatever may be the nature of a school, that is completely done by this open air school, so we call it a school. So when we talk about the open air schooling, I get remembered during my initial career as a teacher and as a student. I still remember the Belpada ME school where I was a student, I think during 1958-59, that my school starts from class 4 to 7, and all the classes are just divided walls were, and the roof means that is not a RC roof, that was a thatched roof, and both the sides were open. We are, from the ventilation point of view, from the light point of view, it was very much well ventilated, well lighted, and we are facing no difficulty with regard to our sitting problems or our listening, and we are very comfortable in those classes. So we may call it, instead of open air schooling, open air classroom, so to say. I remember in one occasion, in the year 1979 perhaps, when I was busy in collecting data for my research studies in the field of tribal education, in one evening, I reached a place in Mayurbhanj by name Thakur Munda. As per my plan and program, I was supposed to collect data from that particular school, but because of the lack of proper communication system, transport, this Thakurmunda bus stand, it was dark. You know that Thakurmunda is a fully forest area, and darkness means so I asked where the school is located, that is the secondary school. Told friends, you see there are plenty of lights visible, like electric lights, because at that time Thakurmunda people have not seen the electric light. So like electric lights, some small lights are visible. You can go by walking is there. So I started walking. By the time I reached there, I found there's an open air ground, and those lights were the lantern used by the school. That is a tribal dominated school. And I found, I first reached to a student who was reading in the ground with the lantern. Do you have your headmaster? Where is his residence? Then he told me, is showing me that is there a person who is having long beard sitting. He is our headmaster. You can go and see. When I went there and gave my introduction, he was very happy. And mostly he was a teacher of mathematics and science. And when he came to know that my background is also some mathematics and science, he told me it is right time. We are having open classrooms, open air classrooms here. You have come on the right time. You please help us. We have got some problems in science and mathematics. So that night, about 3 hours, I sat with the students and the headmaster. Of course, I don't remember his names because in 1979, somehow I forgot. In my thesis, his name is there. Then I talked to the students. I solved their problem. It was a very nice experience sitting under the open air and teaching. We all know about the Gurukul system, open air school. The moment the open air schooling system comes to our mind in India, the Gurukul system comes to our mind. And that time I felt and I came to know that every day when summer comes, immediately after the winter, the students they get together there under the guidance of the teachers, and they do a lot of self-learning with some discussions. And at that time, I was really thrilled. This particular term came to my mind because that time I was the teacher in a school at Bhubaneswar, which is having all sorts of infrastructural facilities. But I could realize our students having all facilities at Bhubaneswar and the students having no facility at Thakurmunda. But the students at Thakurmunda, we are better given chances to open a schooling about their curriculum, curricular areas, than Bhubaneswar. That was my feeling at that time. Anyway, this is my feeling with regard to the open air school, or we may call it outdoor school, or open air classroom, whatever it may be. When we go to the real term, open air school, we go to the history of the open air schooling, we find that in the year 1904, in 1st August, the school was established for the needy families in a pine forest. Because the problem is, otherwise, this open air schooling also, like India, they are also in the Western world, it was available or located mostly in the forest area. Gurukul system was available in forest area, and this open air schooling, so-called year 1904, even it was available of Europe and There, what happens when we go to look at this open air schooling? That time it was considered as a movement. Yes, I think there is some disturbance. Is there any problem? Please?
Dr. Chittaranjan Sahu, Dr. Chittaranjan Sahu, please mute your
There is
mic.
some.
Yes, there is some disturbances. Dr. Chittaranjan Sahu, please mute your mic. Sir, now it is okay, sir. Now,
So, okay, thank you. So the movement actually it reminded us, this open air school reminded us mostly the present condition of our not only country, whole of the world. This is the pandemic, corona. From the beginning years of the 20th century, that from 1901 onwards, till the initiation of the World War II, tuberculosis was a pandemic for a long time in the whole world. Mostly it was a pandemic in the Western world because of the cold nature of those areas. And many students were deprived of their education because of the health problem. So because of the health problem, when it became a great problem, now people started thinking, particularly there are two doctors pioneer in the Rhodes Island, USA. They were the pioneer in this field. In 1904, though it was started in the pine forest, but actually it came to the forefront in 1908 to the 1930. During this time, if we during this time, if you are going to look at the movement of this particular program of open air schooling, which is given by D.M. Fessler, he has cited that open air schooling which were held or which were initiated in 1908 and continued through 1930s to treat children with tuberculosis, and it continued. This movement continued till the beginning of the World War II. With regard to that, the two doctors from Rhodes Island, they moved to New York, and in Rhodes Island, whatever they did accordingly in the mainland of USA, they started the same movement, and it is clearly visible. See, the document is available in the net, and the document is published by the Department of the Interior Bureau of Education, Bulletin 1916, number 23. The name of the document is Open Air Schools by Sherman C. Kingsley and F.B. Dressler. Actually, this was a project which was moved by these two people, and the documents were developed by these two people. It is available in the literature, detailed program, where they have described very clearly that open air schools of the woods, they made it open air schools of the woods because the basic problem is tuberculosis. To keep the children away from tuberculosis. So fresh air is essential. So mostly in the forest area, the fresh air is essentially available. So in those areas, these institutions were established. So what they did, that this open air schooling were purpose-built educational institutions for children that were designed to prevent and combat the widespread rise of TB, and that occupied the period in that occupied in the period starting from beginning of the 20th century to beginning of the Second World War. And when we are going to look at the nature of these open air schools, the schools were built to provide first with regard to the health system. When we are going to look at their health, first we see that open air therapy. They need a lot of air, fresh air and clean air. If you remember correctly, even it was available also in Odisha, in Bhubaneswar and Chandpur, Tangi near Bhubaneswar, the sanatorium and the sanatorium located in Kanpur also. There, the TB patients were being kept because the air was completely clean and people are suffering least health problem. So the first thing was it is open air therapy. Second nature was that fresh air and good ventilated. Few rooms are essential. Mostly they move within the woods. I think everybody is aware of why we prefer woods to get the fresh air, because of plenty of presence of the plants, because of their photosynthesis process. They liberate a lot of oxygen, and that oxygen becomes very helpful to us. And now even today we are shouting for oxygen. Delhi is a city now. Now because of the lack of oxygen, people are dying in the hospital, and we people are responsible to the problem of having no oxygen now in our system. When it was plentifully available in the nature, we have started removing that nature or twisting that nature, so that oxygen is not being able to be available in nature, because everywhere it is Pakka road, no soil is available in city, particularly city like Bhubaneswar or Delhi or Calcutta. Everywhere it is Pakka. So because I remember still somebody wrote an article with regard to Delhi, where they mentioned, while writing the article, there was more than 1,000 tanks were of the ponds were there available in Delhi. But now there is no availability of a pond. If we want to give the concept of a pond to a young school child, then we have to do something. Otherwise, in nature, they were able to find a pond, but now a pond is not available, so they do not know what a pond is. So the water has been, after rain, when we get, the water gets percolated in the soil to frame the groundwater system, and some are being left in the ponds, or some are moved to the sea back through the rivers, etc. So the system, if people know, I may not focus on this. So we become in the advancement age of science and technology, we become responsible to destroy all those things. So when we come to this open air schooling, these two doctors made it a point that these are the few conditions must be available in that school, then only the schooling can be done. So first thing as I told, that open air therapy, then fresh air and the good ventilation, then exposure to the outside and away from the city environment, and then sometimes rural locations also, if it is that's much better. Pollutions and pollution free and overcrowding free atmosphere, and like that of a sanitarium. These are the natures that time they decided that it should be there for a open air schooling. So those who are going to plan for open air schooling, because it was for a specific purpose, to keep the people free from pandemic and continue their studies. Now this is a problem also in our country, that different models people have already developed. Somewhere it is working, somewhere it is not. When we go to look at our Indian condition, from the very beginning, Kavi Guru, Vishwaguru Rabindranath Tagore, has already, that is, though not schooling, but open air classroom still continuing, though it was not as he dreamt, but still it is continuing. And if you go to look at the journals, etc., you will find one person, Abid Bhatt from Kashmir. From Kashmir, has given description of open air school, where it is open air schooling. It is there in Kashmir, in Budgam, Budgam, Budgam. In that particular name of the place is Dudhpatri, Dudhpatri, Dodpatri, Dudhpatri. There, in the open place, near a stream with the bridges and open field, they have started because of this corona pandemic. They have started their open air school, and the children are there. So many photos. If you look at that, report, different types of things of students' activities. That is complete schooling process they are able to do. But the problem is that is a place where rain is not a complete, not like we saw somewhere that seasonally it comes. There it comes very frequently. So as he said, our students get disturbed when there is a sound of rain comes and students start screaming and running to the shade. So they have prepare some sheds to give this shelter to the children, and open air schooling, and they are still able to manage to meet the challenges of this pandemic corona. You see, the early part of that century of 1901 to 1930s, this problem was tackled because of the appearance of the pandemic tuberculosis, and now because of the pandemic corona, we are not happy with the online program conducted for these schools. I talk to many young children. When I talk to them and ask them that online class, because you are doing it at your home, you need not come out. Food is ready at your home. Parents are there. Even if parent is not there, you need not go outside, because outside in the city area is a risky area. So you must be feeling very happy. None of the students agreed with me that they were happy. They expressed they are unhappy with this system. Two reasons they told me. Two reasons I could collect. The first thing is that they are losing their socio-cultural system. What is their culture? What is their society? Everything, friendship, nothing of this sort. When we are talking of the good human, the objective of our education system to produce a good human, and that reading the curricular material or writing the examination, scoring very high marks is no way a symptom of good human. So they expressed, they do not know our curriculum objective, etc. They told, we are losing interest in the study because we have no sociability, no cultural influence, nothing of the sort is there. We are not able to discuss with our friends. Our personal feelings are not being expressed. And second reason, teacher is conducting most of the curricular activities. Beyond that, they cannot go. They must be going to little bit some extent, but within the lot of limitations. And because of the limitations, they are not able to perform the activity. So the curricular activities, when it is being done, we are talking about the constructivism, etc. Other isms are there. How to make the learning teacher center, learning center, the learner center, and how to make the learner to construct their own knowledge. They are not able to construct their own knowledge. Rather, rote learning in other way, in a disguised way, is coming to the forefront. Rote learning, though in our 2005 the curriculum framework, rote learning is being heavily discouraged. It was there prior to 2005. It is there prior to after 2005, and it became acute after this pandemic because of the online program. students are not at all happy. Curricular activities or other activities, whatever it is supposed to be done for them, whatever way it is done, they are not able to get the proper idea. Because they are not able to discuss among themselves. Whatever they listen from the teacher only. Among themselves, there is no discussion at all. Peer learning is completely absent. So our children, being no expert of nothing, they gave me these two ideas that you see. Because of this, we don't like this system of online system of teaching and learning process. Whatever reason we may put forth, our new education policy, National Education Policy 2020 now is in our front, and a lot of things has been done, then mentioned there. And when we are going to look at this India's National Education Policy 2020, and we consider it as a reformist step forward, then what are the points on which the reform can be done? When we discuss on those areas, at that time again this open air schooling come to the forefront. First thing is there that inclusion of early childhood education, that is from age 3 to 18. At the moment we are having 6 to 14. They have included from the age of 3, and they are asking us to complete at the age of 18. And there you might be remembering, you must be knowing that Anganwadi system, they have brought to the fold of school without knowing what an education is. We are going to emphasize on the early numeracy, early literacy. When we are going to look at the new education policy 2020, first point of reform they wanted to bring in inclusion of this early childhood education, and students. School education starts from the age of 3, not from age of the focus equity inclusion very big for us. Whenever there is there, so we have to take care of transgender, police, victims of trafficking children, with children with disabled. All those things are also have been emphatically put forth in our national policy early, and expanded concept of quality. Now, quality, the foundational literacy program and numeracy program from the age of 3 to the age of 8, and the gender power dynamics, then teacher education system. These are the 3 areas that we emphasize through this particular program, to this particular policy, because as we know, the school system, when we are going to look at in our country, there are 15,22,346 schools are there, as reported in the policy on education. And teachers, 86,91,922 teachers are there. And students, 260 million students are there. So we have to be very much bothered about the improved curriculum with better infrastructure. So these are the 4 areas the National policy on education 2020 has emphasized, and there what I feel the this open air schooling can contribute to a great extent, and what I feel that we will be able to move forward to meet the challenges coming from this pandemic, etc. Because this pandemic is not going to leave us immediately within a day or two, a year or two. It will be there with us in a different form. The mutation system continues all the time. As we know, Neanderthal man when we see and the present human being we see, we look at the mutation system, how beautiful we are now as compared to Neanderthal man. Like that, coronavirus started in 2019, and now 2 standard, 3 standard, God knows which stand will come to us with more vigorosity, with more effectivity. God knows. We have to meet the challenges of those things. In those cases, how these in open air schooling can contribute, I think my August speakers can contribute in this regard. With this, I complete my inaugural speech with a thanks to my August speakers and the organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. That you have very nicely presented the beginning of open air schooling and differentiate between school and schooling, and particularly focusing on how Odisha became the place where it was experimented by Panchasakha, Gopabandhu, Acharya Harihara, Pandit Nilakanta, and Krupasindhu Das, Pandit Krupasindhu Das, Pandit Godavari Mishra. So, sir, thank you. Panchasakha, yes. So, thank you very much. Thank you. So, now it is time to request Professor Devaprasad Das to briefly introduce our panelists, the speakers of the day. Now, I request Professor Devaprasad Das, former professor of Gopabandhu Ayurvedic College, Puri, to introduce Professor Prafulla Kumar Ratha, Professor Brajakishore Swai, and Professor Pramod Kumar Mishra. Sir, now I request to Professor Devaprasad Das.
Thank you, sir. So, if you go to the East, far ancient time, there is no world, the education under the tree. They learn, they exposed to the matter and spirit in both. So we divide in today talks, we divide in 3 steps. One is ancient state, the education under the tree, and in medieval, education under the schools, gurus, and in latest, the modern education. So we have 3 guests. One is Professor Brajakishore Swai, another is Professor Pramod Kumar Mishra, and our Professor Prafulla Kumar Ratha. 3 eminent scholars with us in today evening. So first, if we go to the ancient times, that is 2 types of education. One is through the parampara, through the traditions, from the family education. Now the government is what sir told, like the family education, skill level systems, like a running, like a weaver, like a goldsmith, blacksmith. The children learn from their fathers. There's no need of schools. There's the skill level systems. And another, it is from the family, Gotra, we call it Gotra. My father, I am the son, my son, I will learn from the Gotra Parampara. Another is Rishi Parampara, Gotra Parampara. Sorry, school Parampara. Like like I belongs to Ayurveda, surgery parampara, medicine parampara, gynec parampara, like that. Okay, I will not go there. So that's why we have to learn from the nature. So once near a river, there are many ancient university in the India, Nalanda, Takshashila, Puri, Bikramshila, Pushpak, etc. Near the two monks listening the discussion of the two birds. We are discussing who is sick, who is not sick. So answer, and the woman is asking, woman birds is asking, and the male birds is answering. So three answers they gave. So they told Rutubuk. Rutubuk means you should take the food of the seasonal products, like the vegetable and foods, which season available, you can take it, you can be healthy. Rutubuk. Then Mitabuk, you should eat for limited food, limited, not a lot, like a demon, not less. A complete balanced diet you should need. If you take the balanced diet, you cannot be diseased. Rutubuk, Mitabuk, another is
Hitabuk.
Hitabuk. Sir, thank you, sir. I learned from you, sir. It is your talk, sir. I am giving introduction, sir. Hitabuk. A harmonious food is good to eat. So then you can be healthy. That's why this is the things. How will decoding the formula, philosophy. So we have today evening we have a nice speaker. He is Professor Bhajikishore Swami. He is a professor in science. He was a former professor in Sanskrit University, Puri, Jagannath Sanskrit University. He made a lot of books he wrote. He traveled throughout the India. He wrote a lot of books, even astrology also, even Dharma Shastra also. So not necessary to give his identity. You can listen from his voice how the scholar Professor Swami is there. So I invite Professor Swami, sir, you can delight our scholars of the today evening, sir. Professor Bhajikishore Swami. Swami sir is there.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, you can go on, sir.
अच्छा नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्याम जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. Respected chairperson of this webinar, distinguished guests who are associated with us in connection with open air schooling program, and dear participants, I have been chosen to speak something regarding open air schooling system in ancient India and its continuation in different forms in our society at the present context. From the very outset, I have to clear this matter before you that the schooling system is in India nowadays is to provide livelihood, but the schooling system in India in ancient period was not for a livelihood but for life only. Therefore, in education system in India, we have two aspects. The first aspect is life and the second aspect is livelihood. Since livelihood has been connected with education from the British administration onward, our entire system has been now for life and livelihood both. In ancient India, livelihood was determined. Livelihood was distinctive. There is family system, there was domestic system, as said by Dr. Deva Prasad Das, Gotra system and a Rushi system. We have Gotra Parampara and a Rushi Parampara. Education was connected with life only. And in our family system, we have our distinguished family system of livelihood. Therefore, livelihood is connected with nowadays education, and education was connected with life in ancient period. At that time, all the students were going to their respective teacher's house. They were staying there minimum period of 12 years, 20 years, 25 years even. They were getting education there, and they have initiation at the age of 8. They were staying with the teacher, and they were being the family members as well. Therefore, their education was only aiming at. And the students were going out every day for collecting alms, for taking for their food, and when they are coming back to the teacher's house, they were asked to offer those food to the teacher, and the teacher was expected to be there for verification of food and to distribute among the students. At that time, there was no schooling system for outside, inside. All the students
Sir, please mute audio.
Sir, please mute your mic, sir.
Debo sir, please mute your mic.
Please unmute your mic, sir. Hello.
सारंगर काही शुभुनी देव सर प्लीज brother sir is not audible.
हेलो सुगुनी लगा लगा brother sir सुगुनी गए आसुनी गए आसुनी पर brother sir आसुनांती.
No, brother sir is not audible.
Okay, I have to call. So, sir, आपन क्या सुगुनी सर ऑडियो वीडियो दी जगह सुनी बजा सर कॉल कर से कॉल कले फिर कटि जीव आज्ञा हाँ कर कौन करी सर कहीं कटिगला सर साउथ जाऊँ सर बजे कुछ देखें
Hello, brother sir, can you hear me? Brother sir,
सर बजे सर अनम्यूट करंतु सर
कर दिया तो बंद करो बंद
सर काटो सर अनम्यूट करंतु सर
ना
that
मत नहीं
brother sir already unmute their mic, but there is no voice from the brother.
आसिलानी चल कौन है जो कौन तू वीडियो अच्छी तो ऑडियो ऑन अच्छी ऑडियो ऑन अच्छी चालू चालू वाले जब मन मन करी सुन फोन कर कौन कोई पैदा करूँ सर बुझा अपन बंद कर दीजिए देखो अच्छी पूरे वीडियो बंद करती ऐसा नहीं हेलो सर सर हाँ देखो मीडिया बंधु ओके प्रसन्न बाबू এটা কোডে হবে করি হ্যাঁ প্রসন্ন বাবু
Yes, sir.
then
Yes,
we'll
sir.
go to the second one. What will do? Okay, sir. सुनो देखो फोन कॉल को प्रमोद मिश्र
Hello, sir. Dr. Das. Hello.
हाँ sir, we'll go to the person. We'll go to the Pramod sir. Sir. Pramod Mishra. We'll go to the Pramod sir.
Dr. Das has not left.
Sir, mu call କରୁଛି Pramod sir.
Audrey, you please request to our honorable next speaker. I think some sort of technical problem is going on with Professor Swai. Dr. Das, you please request to Professor Pramod Kumar Mishra for his presentation.
Devasar, if Professor Mishra is not available,
Professor Swai.
Professor Mishra, then you can.
Then we'll go to the Pramod Mishra. Hello. He joined. Pramod Mr. Sir, name is there. Pramod sir.
Hello.
Maybe they have one phone.
हाँ देव बाबू कुहतु हेलो
Pramod sir.
हाँ यस यस हेलो हाँ देव बाबू हेलो
Yes, Pramod sir.
Yes.
Yes. Pramod sir, please, you please deliver your speech. As Dev Babu is also offline and Brother sir is not able to connect. So please, please present your talk, and so that the audience can listen you. By that time they will join. Okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Respected chairperson of the webinar, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Respected chairperson of the webinar, guests, and dear participants, now I am presenting my views in this open air schooling. Open air schooling is not new for us. we are also, we have had various speeches of scholars. Now, I say that open air schooling is totally necessary for present period, and it was successful at the time Satyavad Vanavidyalaya. It is a great example for us. So we should know what was the condition of that Satyavad Vanavidyalaya. Utkalamani Gopabandhu Das was speaking that strong country and a strong nation cannot be constructed without proper education. So, all-round development of a country is impossible without education. Only proper education can give us independence. At the time when Utkalamani Gopabandhu was speaking, that time independence was not available for our country. So he is speaking, only proper education can give us independence. The curriculum or syllabus of education of a country should be likewise by which a proper man can be made. The actual education, the ideal education can teach simple living and high thinking. Simple living and high thinking, it can be taught through open air schooling only. The open air schooling was in the mind of Utkalamani Gopabandhu Das. After a deep thinking, this type of school became established in the Bakula forest or Bakula Van of Satyavadi. Sakhi Gopal in 1909. It was a memorable full moon day called Kumar Purnima. This Vanavidyalaya was an ME school. The school had no classroom at all. The students were reading in Bakula forest, Bakula Vana. They were sitting on asanas which were made of coconut leaves. Teachers were sitting on brick made uplands. Firstly, Utkalamani himself taught there. Then Pandit Nilakantha, Pandit Godavari Sir, Acharya Harihara, Pandit Krupasindhu Mishra came to join there as a teacher. Being inspired by Gopabandhu Das, they were teaching there, taking a nominal salary. Pandit Nilakantha Das was the headmaster who upgraded the ME school to high school. This high school was called as Satyavadi Vanavidyalaya, as the school was established in the Bakula Vana, Bakula forest of Sakhi Gopal. Bakula flowers were showering on the heads of the students. Now you can imagine what was the natural situation of that class. The Bakula flowers were showering on the heads of the students. Cuckoo was singing. South wind was flowing with the fragrance of Bakula flower. The rays of sun were coming through the gaps of the leaves of the forest. The surrounding was sweet and natural. This picture of open air schooling and marvelous teaching created a good name and fame. Intelligent students became attracted towards the school and read here coming from the outside of Odisha. Even the eminent educationists of India came to this place, namely Mahatma Gandhi, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, the then Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University, eminent personality like C.F. Andrews, seeing the new teaching method of this open air school. The teaching was in this condition that only book teaching was not there. Students were being prepared for their real life. There was a hostel for students. The students, boarders, were bearing responsibility of the hostel. The teachers were giving advice. At the time of requirement was improving the living capacity of the students. Agriculture, weaving of cloth, carpentry, music were the part of education. Students were helping at the time of construction of the house, of the school. Students were helping the people of the villages at the time of natural calamity like flood and famine, durbhiksha. Education was not binded with the books only. This school was being considered as a part of the society. A special attention had been given for spiritual and cultural development of students in the school. It is an important thing. It is mentioned here that spiritual development and cultural development both should be done. As a student, one day was there in a week for speech, discussion, song, drama, and acting. The aim of the school was social information, Samaj Sandar, as the aim of the school. At that time, that was the need of the society for the development of the society to eradicate, to remove every society. Gopabandhu Das, at the heart of the Satyavadi Vanavidyaya, simple life, obedience, efficiency in work, areas, service to people, public service, where showing ways to the students to serve the society. Publishing magazine named Bani. It was named by the students, it was managed by the students also. Each Saturday has a meeting named Kula Sandhani. Any teacher, any person of the society was coming to this meeting to give speech on literature, sahitya, religion, dharma, or niti. A national college was listed at it gave her up an open air schooling. If we keep our students in natural surroundings, then all type of development can be seen through them. So our country will develop more and more. In this Corona period, we are also become harassed. But at that time, the prayer was or mantras which were always spoken to students morning and evening, it has a sound effect by which the entire works and helping very life, the society, and it is having good ideas in the mind of the people. Those were there, students getting direct contact of the teachers, by which they were in a very good condition, and this type of condition we need in open air school, which is totally needed in this present condition. With these words, I conclude my speech. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
So now I request Debasar to invite the educationist and the cultural expert, Professor Praful Chandra Ratha. We are thankful to Mr. Sir for presenting detail about Satyavadi Vanavidyalaya, the concept of open air schooling, which was practiced here, experimented here. And now I request Debasar to introduce Prafula Chandra Ratha sir. Hello. Professor Ratha. Sir, am I audible to you, sir? Professor Ratha?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, namaskar. Welcome to Tika Foundation seminar webinar.
Thank
on
you.
Open air schooling.
Thank you. Thank
Sir,
you.
we have seen you many times in television, in debate, in discussion, as a director of higher education, as a director of Bhasa Pratishthan. You have did a lot of work. Sir, today we want to listen from you on open air school, sir. Sir, you please start, please.
Thank you. So, पूरा screen को ये देखो. जज्जाग्रतो दूरमुदैति दैवं तदुषुप्तस्य तथैवैति दूरङ्गमं ज्योतिषां ज्योतिरेकं तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु। ओम सुषारतीरस्वामी वह जनमनुष्याने नीयते रीसुवीरवादिनैव हृत्प्रतिष्ठं ददजीरदभिष्टं तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु। The mind which is in our body, the most active part of our body next to all our other organs is inside our body. That mind is very powerful. And let our mind, which can take us to far distance when we are sleeping, so also to a very distant place beyond the stars when we are awakened, that let that mind in my body be concentrated on good works. Tanme manah Shiva Sankalpamastu. I am very glad to speak to a very enlightened audience on the topic of open air schooling. Exactly, you have added another thing to tell me, that is about The Vanavidyalaya as founded by a few enlightened persons and versatile genius of our state in the first half of 20th century under the leadership of Utkal Mani Gopabandhu Das. But it is very difficult to put both the things, the sesame and rice, being distinct from each other due to color, in one pot. So I would start first of all the main purpose of this webinar, which that is the open air schooling. Prior to it, I would like to point out that those who have arranged this discussion or debate and those who are responsible for its success, those who are participating as speakers or those who are participating as listeners, those who are having, they are all giving me very good opportunity to speak on this. And at the outset, let me tell you that anything that we are going to do, be that sitting or eating, sleeping or skipping, or arranging one seminar or anything, there must be a purpose. All purposeless activities are futile, and purpose means that it must be intended and objected for the betterment of the humanity. However, the open air schooling concept is a very old one. I do not know exactly that Mr. Panda, who was giving some statistics on his statistics on open air schooling, whether it was there in other countries or not. Dr. Brajakishore Swain, I do not know why he he has not left actually. He is not utilizing his camera, the video, which is near the speaker. Dr. Brajakishore Swain started about the open air schooling in ancient India. And now, when we are thinking of open air schooling, intervened with the Panchasakha open air school established in Satyavadi, I would like to say that first of all, we must look at the purpose of education. Dr. Brajakishore Swain left in one place when he said that the modern education is to maintain livelihood, and the ancient education in India was for life itself. So, in Mahabharata, Bhishma is telling Yudhishthira that the education, purpose of education is not for maintaining livelihood. Adiji Visaso, those who are doing that, te sarbe he narnupa, te sarbe papistha, dharmasya paripanthina. This is what Bhishma is advising Yudhishthira, that education must not be intended for maintenance. And in India, in Indian context, I hope even today, even in this age of atom, even in this age of mobile, even in this age of rocket, and even in this age of big large-scale production and materialism, Indian philosophy on education still holds good. It has got relevance. Mr. Panda was telling about pandemic. Pandemic is not new, and it has nothing to do with education. But I will again come to it later. Anyway, education has its purpose for a better life. And what is that life? That is why we have discussed on two things. One is Vidya, another is Avidya. Which is Vidya? Vidya is to know about soul. Vidya is to know about Sat Chit Ananda Paramatma Brahma. And Vidya is to prepare one man for the spiritual attainment, that is, he must go for सर्वेश जीवन धन सर्वेश्वर के पास जाने के लिए उनको प्रस्तुत करना. And avidya is that which covers all these things, that which creates anastha for the God, that which distances us from our people, that which distances from nature, that which makes man an artificial engine machine only to eat and to reproduce. So, in Ananda Lahari or Saundarya Lahari, Sakchidananda is invoking goddess Lalita Sundari, that avidyana manta timira mihiro dvipa nagari jadanam chaitanya avidyana manta timira mihiro dvipa nagari jadanam chaitanya. Then those who are jadas, those who do not have any feeling sense, they should get the chaitanya, the consciousness. And our philosophy, especially the Vedanta philosophy, is having a lot of discussion on Anubhava, Chaitanya, or Vishaya means all these things. However, I must again thank those people who have decided or thinking about the open air schooling and being inspired or guided, or they have been influenced by the open air schooling of Utkal Mani Gopabandhu Das. That it want to do, your foundation has started in 2011 as I am reported. And now it is 2020, 10 years, 1 decade has passed. And it is now high time to go for the aim and objective for which this foundation is formed. But you have got many problems. Number one, you cannot go against the acceptance of the people. Mr. Panda was telling in Thakurmunda that there were many students in a school with lanterns. Of course, at that time, we were also using lanterns, not in Thakurmunda, but also in my village in Bidhanar Singhpur. Lantern was our light. And prior to it, when a luminary of my village, that Sadashiv Mishra was there, they were using oil lamps to read in the evening. Dr. Sadashiv Mishra, a jewel and a luminary of my village, Bidhanar Singhpur, when he was a student and staying in my village, was using one oil lamp. So this is not the primary or important thing, but the important thing is that now people should go to the nature. Education should be nature oriented. Education should be spiritual oriented. And on the other hand, when all are running after money, fathers are sending their children to foreign land from where they cannot come when they are going to die, only for money. I have gone through a book written by Sudha Murthy, wife of that Infosys person, Narayan Murthy or something like that, Dollar Bohu. The name of that book is Dollar Bohu. She has said how people have gone away from Indian tradition, Indian culture, Indian thought of the past. Today, our government is also not insisting on those things during that 70 years. But I find that what the Muslim government was doing, what the British government was, Christian government was doing, what Macaulay was doing, even today our Indian government during the last 70 years doing the same thing. Instead of telling the world that see what the objectives which you have chosen or accepted for the enlightenment of the people, which is intended for only for large-scale production, that keeps man away from nature, away from soul. That education should be stopped immediately. In that case, I welcome Corona, because Corona compels us, knowingly or unknowingly, to adhere to the Indian traditions of Namaskar, Indian traditions of social distancing. It is because when after restriction on the first term, in the second term, Corona became very turbulent, very ferocious in contamination, because that the restriction which was imposed upon people during the first term a year back has made people very unruly, indisciplined, and very careless. And this unruly carelessness has brought us all problems of Corona, and the number of patients are increasing day by day. Anyway, that is not the point of our discussion. Our point of discussion is open air schooling. Anyway, I would request those who are going to bring some change in educational pattern, they must see who are the takers. If you go for open air schooling, who will be your takers and why? If your schooling will not provide them job, if your schooling will not make them intellectual rather than labor, then why you are going for open air schooling? You must think of. Even then, there will be people who will, for the betterment of the society, come forward, volunteer themselves to adopt such education. I hope Mr. Sahu, who was speaking on education, that there are many schemes under this present government. One is open schooling, open school university, and all these things from 8 to 14 to 21 or something like this. One can read, pass HSC, pass BA, BSc, all these things. And this is being supported by IGNU, Indira Gandhi Open University Scheme, and all these things. So these are there. But the purpose is not for maintaining a society, maintaining a life. It is the purpose of livelihood. And who are the takers? Takers are very few. So anyway, I am not disappointed by the present situation. I know some persons are there in Odisha who are interested to implement open air schooling, and they have got a very good land in jungle area amidst greeny forest. But prior to it, we must go for the purpose. We must find out how people will come out and take part in this education, and they will become the model for others. So, and we all who have taken part in this webinar, we are all in those modern infrastructure. But these modern infrastructures, that is the concrete buildings, they are banned in our Indian tradition. Indian tradition, Indian culture has said what type of house one man should have. Then our Vishwakarma was expert in building houses, which will be like Kupodaka. Kupodaka means it will be hot in winter and cold in summer. Or even Vishwakarma has been said that you build a house for me, which will be just like a mother's breast for her child. So our philosophy, our tradition, our history, our cultural heritage never permits for buildings. And I know those who are having concrete buildings, what they have done, they have damaged or completely they have ruined the ecographic balance by demolishing the hills and mountains and collecting chips, manufacturing cement and so on and so forth. And these concrete houses are responsible for increasing heat in summer in Bhubaneswar and also maybe in all other parts. Concrete building means we have directly attacked our nature, the Prithvi. So, have we then after coming to these concrete buildings, we found that it is becoming hot. So we went for fans. Again, after coming to the fans, we found that it.
Dugu Babu, oi.
Someone is telling something, I am not able to listen him. Doctor? And some Dr. Ravi Kumar or something like this, I have not heard him. Patra, Dr. Padmanabh Patra. Anyway, I'm bringing an end to my speech. So after the electric fan, then we went for AC. And what the AC is doing, it is also on the same time, it is also increasing the temperature, emitting coldness inside the room and emitting hot air outside. What is doing? So first of all, I would suggest, or I am of the opinion that properly we shall have to see what type of education we can do under such changed circumstances. When the entire picture has been changed, we shall have to find out a way. Second thing, only one sentence I will tell, not more than that. We have got two things about. We have got 18 Vidyas and we have got 64 Kalas. Kalas means the technology for which, and our technology is so designed that a man who is unable to speak, a man who is unable to listen, can also earn his livelihood by doing those, by those kalas which he has learned. And all these vidyas and kalas are not provided, are not taught to students in any institution. All these kalas and vidyas, 64 kalas and 18 vidyas are taught by the family or the family teacher. Hence, when we go for the schools, who are teaching? In one case, at a certain period, teachership was the last option of a job seeker. There are many people who are not eligible to be a teacher, but they are teachers. Not only they are teachers, but also they demand that their pay should be higher and higher. So they are all alternative teachers. And Mr. Tika, those who is at the head of this organization, Tika Foundation, please answer me one thing. If you don't have the natural rose, will the alternative plastic rose serve the purpose? If that, then go. Then, if that is the case, what is to be done? You are very enthusiastic. You are having a very good, well-designed program for the last 10 years, which you have taken ahead. So I hope you will decide it, whether you will go for the real rose or you will go for the plastic rose, which has no smell, which is maybe more beautiful and more enduring than the real rose. Even then, what you have to do, that you can decide. And if you decide, there are many people in this state, even I myself, we can go for open air schooling, and there are something which I have not explained here because it may create unnecessary misunderstanding. Because many of us also have not gone exactly into the pattern of education and pattern of society which held India for 5,000 years as a compact land. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your brilliant voice, brilliant modulation, and the talk, the energy you have circulated by your voice and the talk. Thank you very much, sir. So in NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, the government of National Education Policy particularly focused on these 64 kalas and 18 vidyas. I do not exactly know whether it has been placed or not, but I know that 64 kalas has been placed there. Anyway, so sir, thank you. Thank you very
Well,
much.
Mr. Das, I have got a last word. That is 64 kalas and all these things, that is very difficult to implement, but government has lost a chance when they prepared that national education policy in 2020. One thing, even today, 75% of our uneducated people are coming for education. So for them, at least in the present setup of Adarsh school, Navodaya school, Jawahar school, this and that school, they should come and instead of listening to these communists, instead of listening to these Muslims, instead of paying heed to these Christians who want to kill India, they want to destroy India. We shall tell them what is real education and how to achieve it. Otherwise, again and again, please remember about Mr. K.D. Malabya, who established Banaras Hindu University. When the first batch of Hindu University came out, then K.D. Malabya became ill and he was at the deathbed. He was living in the campus of Banaras Hindu University, and his friends told that, sir, if you will say, we will take you to Kashi, where you will breathe your last death, and thereby you will become immortal. And Mr. Malabya, do you know what Mr. Malabya said? Malabya said, no, I do not want that. I do not want a mukti. What I want another birth, so that this university which I have founded has produced some monkeys instead of men. So I shall have to rectify and correct my attempt of the institution from where men will come out, not monkeys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is the universal education we are propagating, and this education, and particularly NEP, it has been focused on various aspects. So today's discussion is open air schooling. Now the speakers to whom we have already listened, and if Professor Brajakishore Swami is in a technically now, if he has come to a point of sharing his views, we'll listen, or else we'll go for question and answer session. Professor Brajakishore Swami. No. So now, question and answer. Now the webinar is open for question and answer and interaction. Any question? No, no question is there. Deva sir. Hello, Dr. Mahapatra. Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So now, as there is no question, let us conclude the program. So at the end, I want to offer vote of thanks on behalf of Tika Foundation to all the dignitaries, Professor Subhash Chandra Padda and Professor Brajakishore Swami, Professor Mishra, Professor Prafula Kumar Rath, Professor Deva Prasad Das, and Dr. Ravinarayan Sahu, and above all, the chairman of Tika Foundation, Manjuru Ali, who is here with us, and all the dignitaries, all the participants, those who have joined the program from different parts of the state and the country. So I, on behalf of Tika Foundation, offer heartfelt thanks, and particularly thanks due to Dr. P.K. Mahapatra, who is the secretary and who is actually key behind the organization of such programs frequently for educating us, for educating the people. So there is a large scale demand about to different aspects that Tika Foundation is covering by inviting the dignitaries, the eminent scholars and speakers from different area, different arena. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now to Dr. P.K. Mahapatra to declare the session is closed.
Thank you. Namaskar to all of you. Now, the webinar is closed. Thank you.
Please quit the platform.